Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. On this episode of Airsoft with Toast, we'll be reviewing the Lancer Tactical Gen 2 Airsoft Rifle SD M4 Gen 2 Polymer Electric Full/Semi-Automatic Rifle AEG with 20 gram BBs and battery charger. We're going to jump right into this with some pros and some cons. One of the cons I have with this gun is overall it's hefty. It's a hefty gun. Honestly, there's not a lot I can say about that. It's a pretty heavy gun. And then another problem I have is with the bolt. I've had problems with the bolt in the past where the spring just completely broke. And when that happened, it was mid-game, and I didn't realize so the dust hover came off and bent. So now I can't bend that back. I've had to buy a replacement spring to go in it because the spring snapped, and I've had problems with the hop-up since we got the gun. You can finick with the hop-up. I don't know if it's just me, user error, or the gun itself, but I've had problems with it constantly. It either completely comes out of whack, or it constantly just gets screwed over somehow. Another problem I've had is with the rail system. The rail system is uneven in some areas. I got it like warped or something. The little rails right here, they were all screwed up, so I had to actually go through and measure them and then sand them down. So that was terrible. Another problem I have is buying mags. So unless you want to buy these regular crank-up mags, it's honestly just, yeah. Because if you want to buy just regular
At this point of the video, and I should probably show you guys what I'm talking about, so let me just bring you guys down here. This is what I'm talking about. Could not remember the name for some reason. I just couldn't think. But yeah, this is the mag I'm talking about. That's really it. So enjoy the rest of the video, guys.
Frank, just speed loader mags. They'll drop in there and they'll wiggle. Ooh. They'll drop in there and they'll just wiggle like that, basically. I don't have any right now, but they'll just wiggle in there. It's terrible. So yeah. And the stock, the butt stock. So whenever you have a battery in there, I've had problems where it got caught or something on my vest or like on a branch, and this will for some reason drop, and then with the battery it'll push itself right here and like clamp it, the wire in here. Let me pull out the wire and show you. It'll clamp the wire right there. So that is a problem I've run into a couple times. And another problem I've had with this is trying to figure out how to get this on, even though I've had this gun for a decent amount of time. Sometimes you'll just struggle with it. And for some reason the battery just kills this gun. The gun kills the battery so fast. Even though it's not even giving as much power as it should, I think, because even though it's 400 FPS, I've had a CO2 pistol that's 400 FPS and shooting 10 times farther and so much better. But even with this, it just won't shoot as far, and with other electric guns that I have are 400 FPS, they'll also shoot farther and stuff. So I don't know if I have to like mess with it or something and see what's wrong with it, but sometimes it just will not shoot properly, and that is a problem in my opinion. So let's move on to the pros. Yeah. Okay. So one of the pros I have here is basic semi-automatic. I like the little clicking, just basic stuff. The trigger is decent for a beginner gun. Honestly, overall, it's a decent beginner gun. You have it's a little cool looking. It's not super cool looking, but it's decent. There's not a lot of maintenance that needs to be done to it other than some basic stuff, like once in a while, not really once in a while, like clean off the gun after a game and maybe go through and oil it up some proper gun oil, clean it and stuff like that. Other than that, there's not huge maintenance that needs to be done, like ripping out the motor or anything like that. That just doesn't really need to be done. A lot of the time, I've had to do it once, and that's it. It's a hard gun to break because I have dropped it down a hill and it did not break. It was like a 20-foot hill. It rolled all the way down, did not break. All I had to do was clean out the barrel, and then from there I was fine. Another problem I've run into with the gun though is with buying slings. So yeah, but that's a whole other problem that I'm just being stupid about. But there's not a lot of pros. There's not a lot of cons. It's just a decent beginner gun. If you were to buy it, I would recommend it somewhat. If you were just like hopping in to go to some small fields, like some small CQB, maybe. If you were going to go to some outdoor fields, maybe if you're just trying to get into the sport for a little bit, just put some small amount of money into a pretty good gun. but honestly, there's not a lot I can say. If you were gonna do big indoor CQB, maybe you could make it work. Honestly, I've seen people play it with spring guns there, so I could honestly see it getting worked out. But large Milsim events, fields, such like that, if you're playing in a field with friends or something, I would not expect this thing to go out and hit anything. I have a scope on it just because I lost the iron sights because I'm stupid. But yeah, I would not expect this thing to be able to poke out there and hit anybody if you weren't like really pushing and like being up to 25 feet. So best way I can say it is it's a Lancer Tactical Gen 2. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. I would recommend it to some beginners, but once you hit the threshold of playing for more than like 2 or 3 years, I would recommend buying another gun if you play frequently. That's about it. If you have any other questions, I will answer them. So, I'll see you.